Your best self exists in the space between your current self and the person you want to be. The Artful Escape is a psychedelic adventure game with rhythm elements exploring this very idea. It's visually stunning, surprising, and downright delightful. But with a few exceptions, the Artful Escape is more fun to look at than it is to play. I enjoyed the spectacle of it all, but found myself wanting more from the mechanics it has. Living in the shadow of his folk superstar uncle, Francis Vendetti's debut is a mere celebration of his uncle's legacy, and when a mysterious woman named Violetta approaches him at the beginning of the adventure, she immediately recognizes the disconnect between him and the wild rock music he wants to make. She invites him to a place called Lightman's, which doesn't seem to exist, creating an interesting hook that drew me in. The Artful Escape starts off with a simplistic but satisfying exploration of your hometown as you question its inhabitants over the location of Lightman's. It's a great way to show what Johnson Vendetti's legacy means to people and the importance of the upcoming festival in his honor. I felt the pressure of living up to his legacy and in turn felt Francis's frustrations. Engaging with the world on this level created a lovely calm and curiosity driven by the mysterious Lightmans no one seems to have heard of. This incentivized me to chat with everyone to see what they knew about it. This feeling continued even as I walked around my house and into the otherworldly twist that awaited me that night. After essentially being selected to gig with Lightman, one of the most iconic musicians across the galaxy, you're introduced to the core elements that drive the Artful Escape's action. Jumping and gliding between gaps across a variety of environmental platforms to reach the end of a given level, and playing a rhythm game for key story moments. Your guitar plays a role in both, with the glide accompanying a long strum and the rhythm game, unsurprisingly, being the music you play. Other than that, you have the option to strum at will as you walk across these worlds, with aspects of the environment reacting to your tunes. You also get to make some dialogue choices, but these decorate the story rather than impact it. It's a Mad Lib situation where your decision will change things like where you say you're from, but where you're from has no perceivable bearing on the story, at least from what I could tell in my playthrough. If there's something the Artful Escape excels at, it's art direction by a mile. It's a visual delight that surprises at every moment. In many ways, the Artful Escape feels like the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, bizarre, playful, and fresh. But unfortunately, the Artful Escape has more flash than substance. Throughout the story, you learn about Violetta's talent and how her light show carries these musical performances. In the same vein, the visuals carry the Artful Escape. Everything in the Artful Escape is teeming with life, but you feel more like a passive observer of it all, and not an active participant despite your main character's status. The Artful Escape makes for a great theme park ride, one with visual awes rather than exhilarating thrills, but the engagement it offers isn't engaging at all. The platforming is so easy, it may as well be non-existent. It feels like it's only there to give you something to do so you don't fall asleep at the wheel. To be clear, platforming doesn't have to be brutal to be fun, but you're mostly going left to right with just a few moments of verticality. The lack of dynamics makes the whole thing feel rote. The closest that platforming gets to changing are moments where you slide down a landscape or suddenly go into slow motion. These moments are fun and refreshing at first, but they're done so many times that even they grow tired. Occasionally, platforms contribute to the music or offer a bounce, and this helps add some variety, but it's not enough to be compelling. It took arriving at a character creator about halfway through the game to shake me back into a state of attentive investment, but that high wasn't enough to carry me through the story. What was so well done about that moment was it gave me something interesting to do that also tied directly into the story that was unfolding. It wasn't just cosmetic, it was world building. For a game about music, the music is just fine. Not bad, but so safe it all blends together for me. No single musical moment stands out to me, while I feel the opposite when it comes to the visuals, which feel incredibly memorable. The Artful Escape is a fantastic music video, but with an ultimately forgettable OST. Though strategic instrumental swells gives you a momentary sense that you're hearing something grandiose, it never culminates in anything significant. One of the most active parts of the Artful Escape is the rhythm game component, which often serves as the climax to any given level. Visually, these are integrated well, as the required button inputs are displayed on multi-eyed creatures, which makes the world feel cohesive. And if you mess up, you can simply try again, so failure doesn't have a consequence, nor is there a scoring system involved. Ultimately, the rhythm game is serviceable, but not spectacular. There are some really incredible personalities sprinkled across these dimensions, including one moment that genuinely made me laugh out loud. The Artful Escape is at its best narratively when it leans into the ridiculousness of this cosmic trip, being humorous and playful. Without giving too much away, the plot is extremely predictable, and the only turn the story does take is resolved so quickly it barely feels worth introducing. In short, despite being about 4 hours long, the Artful Escape gets repetitive in more ways than one. I enjoyed my time overall, but the thrill came from what I was seeing more so than what I was doing, and in a medium as active as video games, that's not necessarily a good thing. The beauty is just enough to make it a worthwhile adventure, but don't expect any steak with this sizzle. For the full review, check out the link in the description below. And before you go, be sure to hit subscribe and check out our other previews and reviews. And as always, thanks for watching.